My mother-in-law demands a financial compromise over a problem she created.
We love when the problems demand we deal with more problems.
Oh, ain't that the truth? Backstory. 5 years ago, my mother-in-law retired, sold her house, and moved to Arizona to be closer to my husband and I, and to be done with harsh winters. In our opinion, she did this prematurely.
Yeah.
By the way, this comes from Irrelevant. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. You already know. So she spent her first year in Arizona living in a small, not great apartment, as that was all that was in her budget. She also hasn't worked since, not even part-time, despite her financial advisor telling her that she should have a job. 4 years ago, my husband was able to buy her a home in a 55-plus community, and the community she's in, she chose for several reasons, including being large, dog-friendly, and we got her into this home with the understanding that this was going to be her forever home. My husband and I own the home, and we see this as our investment into her future care. When she gets to a point where she cannot live on her own, we have this home to sell to fund assisted living. We've made upgrades to the property roof and AC, and mother-in-law put her own money into changing the floors, kitchen, cabinets, counters, etc.
Okay.
3 years ago, she bought a golden retriever puppy. Cute. We both strongly advised against this for several reasons. Get a rescue, including that we didn't think that she should get a dog that would grow to be bigger than she can handle. She got the puppy anyway, now a 75-plus pound goofball that really isn't super loyal to her. Dang.
Yeah.
That's rough, man.
I mean, like, if you don't train the dog,
Yeah.
dog's gonna be hard to wrangle.
Yep, absolutely. A fine dog, but I wouldn't say it's the dog, you know? Not a heart dog. A year and a half ago, my husband and I decided to move abroad and executed the move 7 to 8 months ago. Congratulations. We wanted to try a new way of living and decided that Arizona did not support the kind of lifestyle that we want to have. Almost all of our family is still in Arizona, so visits home will always be to there. And we even spent 2 weeks there last month. My mother-in-law took the news of our move incredibly hard, but since we didn't move until a year after announcing our intention, by the time it happened, she accepted things and was even somewhat happy for us.
That's good.
That's great.
Yeah.
A month after we moved, she had a heart attack and needed triple bypass surgery.
No,
Whoa.
that's not great. That's
Not
bad.
good. Yeah.
That's bad.
Whew. We supported her the best we could from abroad with FaceTimes and Amazon packages, and my mom visited her in the hospital almost every day. Her friends at the 55-plus community really stepped up and took turns caring for the dog and helping her with anything she needed through her recovery. It really reassures us to know that she is surrounded by so much support, and that's part of why we felt okay with moving away. But seeing her go through this medical emergency while being over here and helpless was hard.
Yeah.
I bet, man.
That definitely gotta be difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. But our current situation, in March, the dog was at a neighbor's house being watched by said neighbor and other folks. Mother-in-law was across the street at her own house. The dog had a leash on, but no one was holding it. A woman walked by with her own dog, and mother-in-law's dog ran at the woman and her dog, presumably to greet, but the dogs got into a scuffle, and the woman's leg was injured with a scratch or bite in her attempts to separate the dogs.
Ooh, scratch or bite.
Scratch or...
There's a big difference there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that really is. Dang. Infections could happen. The 55-plus park has a zero tolerance policy for any aggressive dog behavior, and last month my mother-in-law received an eviction notice from the park's attorney citing the incident and saying that the eviction would be canceled if the dog were removed within 5 days.
Dang.
Wow.
Dang.
What an ultimatum.
That's I've never actually heard one like that before.
That's so fast. 5 days and you're out of there. Since we happened to be in a town at that time, we were able to have her and the dog to stay with us for a couple of days while we evaluated the situation. We called an attorney who basically confirmed that the eviction was legal. We all discussed and all agreed that she would move into our house. We run it as a furnished rental with her dog, which would buy time to think about next steps, such as selling her house and buying in another park that would allow the large dog. Then she changed her mind and found a foster for the dog, deciding to foster the dog, sell the house, and move to another park as quickly as possible. She's now putting a lot of pressure on my husband and I to list her house. It's our names on the title, but we are not on board with this course of action. We haven't said this to her, but we both think it would be better to rehome her dog and stay in her current park. Reasons include selling and buying will automatically be flushing thousands of dollars down the drain in rental fees. The homes that would be in our budget are going to be 20 plus years old and need the same kind of amount of major repairs we've already done at her current place, further eating to the investment money. The park she wants to move to is pretty far away, whereas right now she's 5 minutes away from my mom. She would be moving away from the support system provided by her friends in the current park that has already proven itself.
I'm just like, I've never heard it referred to as a park, and it's just the language is funny to me because it makes me I'm seeing all of these older elderly individuals like they're at the dog park being walked around on their leashes by like
they're like in
I don't
dog
know
houses.
like they're kids.
Yeah.
Like, this is mine, model 1952. This one.
Yeah. It's like one of those like fake neighborhoods that you can go around.
Yeah.
Or like, I guess they have fake neighborhoods for certain old people.
So that's just what I'm dealing with right now in my head.
More reasons include she shouldn't be doing this kind of major move at 68 years old. It's taken her 4 years to get fully settled into her current home, and she shouldn't be uprooting everything. The dog could easily be rehomed to a great family. It's a golden. And when the time is right, she could adopt another dog. Also, her dog did not miss her at all when she was in the hospital for her heart attack. Dang. That's brutal, man.
That is ice cold.
That's brutal.
You could have just left that out.
Yeah.
You need to put that in the story.
That's rough, man. One time someone told me that my dogs don't care about me.
That's rough.
Oh.
Hey. We got puns.
Totally intentional. She's really not a very loyal dog. Ultimately, this house is our investment into her future care, and from a financial standpoint, this seems like such an obvious decision. On the other hand, she is alone, and this dog is her companion. I don't know if it's right for us to refuse to sell her house, even if it makes sense on paper. From an emotional standpoint, I feel like this is wrong. I think that part of our job in taking care of my mother-in-law is making sure that she is emotionally cared for, and forcing her to get rid of the dog would probably be unforgivable from her POV. My husband is planning on having the talk with her tonight because so far he has not shared with her his full thoughts on the situation. He and I have been talking in depth for a while, trying to figure out a course forward. So what would anyone do in this situation? Should we tell my mother-in-law that we will not let her move? Should we take the financial and help her keep her dog? And there are some comments, and there's like, we're not even halfway through the story. But what would you do? What would you do?
I mean, she said she wanted to like foster the dog or like rehome the dog.
Mm-hmm.
I think she can do that. It sounded like that was her idea at one point, right? No?
I think so.
I don't know. Yeah, I think staying with the friends that she's made at her park, probably the best move.
Yeah.
If you can get her to agree.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also like, maybe she's like, I don't want to stay at the same place where they made me get rid of my dog.
Oh, yeah. She might be bitter.
She might be like, but it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
People get stuff in their head. It's hard to get it out of their head once they are dead set on an idea. So
right.
But
especially when they're elderly,
yeah,
they seem to be a little more set in their ways a bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, that seems like a solid plan. Nice that they're gonna talk about it. That's definitely sure that they're not just like making an executive decision. That
should be a talk for sure.
Absolutely. But there were some comments. Comment number 1 says info. You say you had agreed for her to move into your house temporarily to think about selling her house and moving as the next step. Were you insecure when you said this and were hoping that she'd change her mind and give up the dog? I don't really see how she's changed her mind in this situation. She still wants to move elsewhere with the dog. It's just that she wants to stay where she is and have the dog fostered temporarily rather than moving to your house temporarily. OP responds, no, that was a sincere offer at the time, but now having had several weeks to gather information, we are grappling with huge financial hit. Keeping the dog means as well as the other repercussions and considerations. With her making the decision to stay where she is and foster the dog, she's now putting a huge time crunch and urgency on the whole thing. Every time she calls, she's just trying to put pressure on us to list the house as soon as possible. Meanwhile, we've tasked her with finding other parks to live in, and she's found one, and that one park has one listing that would be within budget being at the max whatever we could net from her house. Even if we did list her house today, it's highly unlikely that it would sell. Her park has slow market right now. In time to buy that unit, sellers have priced it low to move it quickly. And there is another update. Do you have any final thoughts before we go into this first update?
No, I think let's just dive right in.
Let's just go for it. great.
Yeah.
So, update. Mother-in-law to my husband. You're just another man screwing me over. Oh boy.
Nice.
Accusations coming out hard. Oh man. A little more context. The house was bought 100% with my and my husband's money. The park had a requirement that the resident had to be on the title. So a few weeks after we bought it, we added her name to the title to check that box. A year or two later, we removed her name from the title because A, it's not her asset, and B, we anticipated a situation much like this might happen. Good foresight, turns out. She's currently out of state visiting a friend, plus there is a 9-hour time difference from our country, so our evenings are her mornings. She was supposed to fly home on Friday and had commitments to handle for us over the weekend. On Thursday morning, we woke up to a text from her that she was wanting to extend her trip and that it was fine except for her commitment to us, checking out tenants and checking in new tenants. We pay her to manage our property until our house sells in a couple months. I sent her a polite but firm response that extending her trip sounded nice, but less than 2 days' notice was not appreciated, and to please get me up to speed on her conversations with the current tenants so that I could handle the situation. At the same time, we needed to have the conversation with her about unlisting her house. Her text had said that she'd call us when she woke up, so I told her, please don't do that, as we'll be working and that we would call her. By the time we finished up work on Thursday, we had heard nothing back from mother-in-law. Husband and I both tried to call her a few times throughout the evening, and we figured that she somehow took offense to my text and was being pouty. So, being unable to communicate with her first before taking the house off of the market, my husband reached out to the listing agent and asking for removal. The listing agent said that she would take down the sign and flyers, but that the house would stay on the market until the contract expires. Husband responded, asking what it would take to dissolve the contract. She said we could talk about paying her a fee. The agent didn't respond. The next morning, we woke up to a text to my husband from my mother-in-law. The agent had texted her and told her that we wanted to take the house off the market. To be clear, my mother-in-law's name is not on the contract. The agent's professional relationship is with us, and my mother-in-law is a tenant in our house. It was wholly inappropriate for the agent to reach out to my mother-in-law in this way, and I will be contacting her broker to explain. Boom. Get her.
Get her.
Get her.
Get her.
So, mother-in-law texted my husband saying that she was confused, hurt, angry, and mostly very disappointed in the text messages.
Hitting you with the disappointment.
Hitting her with the disappointment.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Disappointed. She's using all the weapons in her arsenal.
In her vast arsenal.
Arsenal. Okay, thank you. I was blanking on that word. Since she had been ignoring us, the only text messages were the one I sent in response to her extending her trip and the text from the agent. She asked, "What will it take for you to buy me out of my portion of my home so I can move on with my life that I choose to live?" My husband responded that he had tried to have a conversation and that he's not telling her how to live. He's saying that there are conditions to her spending his money, which she hasn't met, and that they need to discuss. He asked to schedule a call. She called him Friday afternoon, Friday morning, her time. She confirmed that she was extending her trip by a week, and my husband said, "That's great." She asked if he's taking her house off the market. He said yes. She asked why, and he said, you know why. We've talked about this. She didn't respond and pivoted to say that she is moving no matter what and wants to be bought out of the house. So she's going to do what they want, which is move out of the house, but she's like, you gotta pay me first.
She's like holding herself hostage.
Yeah, it's a really like backwards situation.
And it's like, well, technically it is their house. Like they spent all the money for it, right?
Yeah.
From what I'm aware of.
Absolutely. So I guess she's just forgetting that she didn't buy the house.
She's just being a difficult person.
Yes. Yes, it seems. My husband said fine and that he would reimburse her for the flooring and kitchen cabinets that she installed.
She did pay for those.
Okay.
I forgot.
I guess so. She had originally wanted us to pay for those and we declined as the house's original floors and cabinets were fine. She said that her investment was worth $60,000. It's not.
Those are some expensive cabinets.
Yeah, for real. Oh my gosh. He said, sure, show me the receipts and I'll make you whole on it. From there, she started spiraling, got mad that her name was taken off the title, said that she wanted a return on her investment and that she wanted $40,000, said that she could rip out the cabinets, said it was her house, threatened legal action, said that this isn't how you do business, especially with family, and said this isn't how you treat family.
Wow.
She's really trying everything.
She had a mouthful there.
Oh my goodness gracious. To that, my husband said, what isn't how you treat family? Buying them a house to live in for for free. I'm so proud of him for that one. Dang, yeah, that's a great thing to do for your family.
Yeah, be like, oh, so I shouldn't have bought you this free house.
Yeah, my bad. That caught her off guard. Yeah, that's great, but she said this isn't how to treat your mother who raised you for 20 years. At 14, he went to live with his dad full time, and at 19, he went into the military, so he was very confused at the 20 years thing. She said she wants to be paid back for her improvements to the property, and so with the spiral, it continued. Finally, she told him, "You're just another man screwing me over," and she hung up the phone. Wow, there's still more to this, but this woman is hurt. She is hurt.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like she's been screwed over by a lot of men in the past.
I guess so.
Sounds like she is sensitive to that.
Yep.
It is fair to be like, well, I did spend money on parts of the house, but then also, like, don't tell them just a fake made-up number that's not real.
Yeah, that's like so much money.
Yeah, like tell them the actual house. Also, they're selling this house to get you another house, essentially, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
They're selling this place to put you in the next place you want to be.
Right. So, like, beggars can't be choosers. You know? And if the cabinets weren't really adding any, like, value to the house, then you don't get anything from it. I watch HGTV.
Boom.
That's what they say, right?
That's what they do say.
Take it up with Joanna and the other one.
Take it up with the crew.
Yeah. So she hung up the phone. For a mother to say that to her son is just what? So gross in so many ways. All I needed to hear to know that I'm not crazy about the relationship dynamic here and her much deeper rooted problems that she's never bothered to resolve throughout her life. I could make a whole other post on that. Anyway, my husband followed up the call with a text. "I am not another man screwing you over." And I think that was an awful thing for you to say to me. I'm simply not spending thousands of dollars to solve your problems. You made the decision to get an enormous dog. You made the decision to not get proper training for the dog. And you made these decisions knowing the policies of the park you specifically wanted to live in. The situation you're in right now is a direct consequence of your decisions. You need to own the consequences of your own actions. Furthermore, I agreed to sell my property and acquiesce once again to your desires with specific conditions that you have chosen to ignore. My removing the house from your market is again a direct consequence of your decision. The decision to not work. I forgot about that not working thing.
That's
that was
right.
A callback from the very beginning.
Unemployed. And paid for.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
But still not good enough.
And she's like willing. She's like able to work though too. She's not, broken enough, it seems.
I mean, like 68's pretty old.
It's pretty old.
But also, like, there is stuff out there.
Yeah. There's stuff out there. I once worked at a clothing store and one of my coworkers was 72. But I mean, obviously I don't know how like physically able she is, but if she's got a big dog, then maybe
you
something.
could be a taste tester.
Walk around. Yeah. You act as if I'm doing this maliciously, and I need you to know that I am not. I am making the best financial decisions to ensure that my mother is taken care of, especially when she is so determined to act against her own long-term self-interest for the sake of her emotional state. She responded something about being paid for her investment. He said something about how, in that case, she will need to move out, and she said that she was working on it. She seems to think that we are straight up stealing money from her. Something in her warped point of view really sees it as she is owed at least 1/3 of the property value no matter what. I sent her a long text basically saying that she acts very entitled toward my husband and always has, and that what she said to him was wrong. That this isn't about the money, that we don't want or need the money from the house, that any of the money is for us to take care of her, but it's not hers to spend. That we still plan to take care of her even through all of this, but that she didn't uphold her commitment and that she owes my husband an apology. She responded saying that it is about money, that she is grateful, and that we are rude and disrespectful to her to get a job or else, and that she doesn't need to be taken care of yet. I asked her how she thinks it's fair that she isn't holding up her end of the house selling agreement and why she agreed to the job condition in the first place. That the time to take care of her already came when when she needed a place to live, and that she's lost my trust and owes my husband an apology. She also has had a bit of a back and forth texting with my husband, but it's just been some petty little quips. Actually gave me a good chuckle. She sent a pic of the Arizona sunset behind her house and said, "Pretty sunset at your house, XD." Wait, what?
Wait.
Oh, like she's saying like at your house and not my house.
Oh, right.
I think that's what she's saying.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so nice here at your house.
At your house. Ha ha ha. XD. It's like dealing with a moody teenager. We'll get through all of this. By the way, what you can try to get through is all of our videos. All of our videos with full episodes, stories just like these. How many days are there?
48.
48 days. And that number is just growing. So
it keeps going up.
It would take you 48 days to get through all that we have for you.
Consecutive days.
Consecutive days. Just go to Spotify. Go to Apple Podcasts. Your favorite podcast app. Search OK Storytime. And we got you. We got you. And there is a tiny bit more to the story. Any quick thoughts before we go into it?
Sometimes people are difficult.
Yep. That is, yeah.
But we still love them.
Still love them begrudgingly sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want to see how this ends. I know she loves my husband, and I do have faith that she'll apologize. And like I said to her in my first long text, nothing you say or do in your hurt and anger will change the fact that we will always be here and ready to provide you with stability. That's a nice thing to add.
Yeah.
Through all of this, I have so much love and respect for my husband, that he turned out to be such a wonderful person and partner despite his upbringing. He says that we all get to choose who we want to be, but I think even that takes a level of awareness that most people don't have. But anywho, in that case, I love who he chooses to be. Aw, what a sweet little note to end on. That's super cute.
Oh, he's so sweet.
That's adorable.
A little cutie pie type thing to say.
Yeah, but
wow.
Man,
that is the end.
Heard so many stories. Like, obviously, you know, I don't think she's like in the place yet where she needs to be like actively taken care of. I mean, she is taken care of, but she doesn't need like a live-in person to take care of her or something like that. Yeah. But I've just heard so many stories of that being so difficult to deal with your parents like that. So
it's just hard when they like don't have a job, whoever it is.
Yeah.
If you're like helping somebody and they don't have any income. Yeah. It's just like, are you trying?
Right. And then they're complaining about like things that
But you are 68.
It's complicated. It's complicated. But anyway, that is the end of that story.